growing mystery over the death of accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, who died by suicide. Tonight we have learned that jail guards were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes, but that didn't happen the night he died. Epstein's body was carried away in the van you see right here, heading for the medical examiner's office. The FBI and the Department of Justice have already launched investigations into a death at what was supposed to be a high-security jail. And tonight, those security lapses are fueling the outrage for Epstein's accusers, who already fear they will not see justice. ABC's Stephanie Ramos outside that jail in Lower Manhattan.
Tonight, investigators are poring over evidence and surveillance footage to figure out the major breakdown that allowed Jeffrey Epstein's apparent suicide in his jail cell. ABC News has learned guards were supposed to check on the alleged sex trafficker every 30 minutes. Sources say that protocol was not followed in the hours before he was discovered.
It really is an insane system on so many levels.
Attorney Bruce Barquette represents Epstein's former cellmate, who roomed with Epstein less than 3 weeks ago when he was found unresponsive with marks on his neck.
What the guards do and what they're supposed to do are almost always two different things. So one has to wonder how it is that this man who just tried to take his own life by hanging himself a few weeks ago was in a position to successfully hang himself.
Just 6 days after that first incident, Epstein was taken off suicide watch. Saturday morning at 6:39, the multi-millionaire was found hanging inside of his cell.
There are just a lot of people that are, yes, angry and livid.
Michelle Licata says Epstein sexually assaulted her when she was just 16. She and other accusers are outraged he will not face a criminal trial.
I really wanted justice. I really wanted him to take up for what he did and to be put in jail or prison and have to sit there and think about what it is he exactly did to so many people.
Tonight, authorities are pledging to continue the investigation. Epstein's death comes less than 24 hours after 2,000 pages of new documents were made public.
You're screaming on the inside and you don't know how to let it come out. All you do is obey.
Virginia Roberts Gouffre's 2015 defamation suit was unsealed against Ghislaine Maxwell, a longtime Epstein associate. In deposition testimony, Gouffre says that Maxwell recruited her to be a teenage sex slave to Epstein.
Give Jeffrey what he wants. A lot of this training came from Ghislaine herself.
Maxwell has not been charged with any crimes. She has consistently denied the allegations. Tonight, accusers are calling for those who enabled Epstein to be held accountable.
The people who really have to be concerned are the ones who worked with Jeffrey Epstein, are the ones who may have helped facilitate what he was doing. All right, Stephanie Ramos joins us now live from outside that jail where Epstein took his life. And Stephanie, on that last point we just heard from Dan, prosecutors say there's active investigations in both New Mexico, where Epstein had an estate, and New York. And in New York, they've made it clear they are looking into conspiracies surrounding those sex crimes.
That's exactly right, Tom. Federal prosecutors here in New York are still investigating the alleged sex trafficking conspiracy, asking more accusers to come forward. So it's still possible that others may be charged. Separately, there are 2 federal investigations into Epstein's suicide and how this happened. Tom.
Stephanie Ramos with that new reporting on the suicide investigation. Stephanie, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
So let's have a recap. Jeffrey Epstein, suicide. So the guards were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes. But it didn't happen the night before his suicide watch. Allegedly, the guards did not follow protocol. So who had the authority to change the protocol? Because 2 weeks prior to August 10th of 2019, he was allegedly found unresponsive with marks on his neck and put on suicide watch for an attempted suicide. So someone had the authority to change that protocol that the guards did not check on him every 30 minutes. Now, I'm questioning, me personally, will a guard take the fall or be criminally charged for Epstein committing his suicide alleged suicide. But let's check out something else. Let's check out something else.
Good evening, I'm Elaine Quijano. The FBI and Department of Justice are investigating the death of Jeffrey Epstein. One day after his apparent jailhouse suicide, investigators and lawyers have more questions than answers about what happened inside that New York jail at dawn Saturday. Here's Mola Lengi.
The Bureau of Prisons said 66-year-old Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell early Saturday. Staff in Lower Manhattan at the Metropolitan Correctional Center tried to revive him, according to the Associated Press. Attorney General William Barr said Epstein's death raises serious questions. Just 2 weeks ago, Epstein was found semi-conscious on the floor of his jail cell there. Sources tell CBS News that following his apparent suicide attempt, Epstein told authorities he feared powerful people might be trying to prevent him from cooperating with authorities. The New York Times reported Sunday Epstein had been taken off suicide watch and was supposed to have been checked by guards every 30 minutes, but that procedure was not being followed the night before he was found. Sources at the jail tell CBS News they often rely on certain inmates to assist guards in monitoring other inmates due to a lack of manpower. Arrested on July 6th, Epstein pleaded not guilty to federal charges that he enticed, recruited, and molested dozens of young girls at his homes in New York and Florida. Mark Furnish, one of Epstein's attorneys, said there is plenty of blame to go around for this unthinkable tragedy. Furnish blames overzealous prosecutors, pandering politicians, judges, jailers, and the attorney says reporters also have blood on their hands in Epstein's death. A trial date had been set for June 2020. Jennifer Arose alleged that Epstein raped her in his New York mansion in the early 2000s when she was 15. We have to live with the scars of his actions for the rest of our lives, while he will never face the consequences. With Epstein dead, the criminal case against him ends, but prosecutors have left the door open to charge co-conspirators who were involved in his alleged sex trafficking operation.
My clients were shocked, distraught, having a hard time processing this.
Attorney Lisa Bloom represents several alleged victims of Epstein. Bloom says her clients still plan to get justice.
Now that he's gone, the criminal case dies with him, and we are going to file civil claims, civil litigation against Jeffrey Epstein's estate.
Well, CBS News has learned that victims are still coming forward, and investigators continue to collect evidence, including from Epstein's properties, like this opulent townhouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side, which will very likely be the target in the civil cases against Epstein's estate, which Elaine, despite his death, will be allowed to move forward.
Mola Lengi, thank you.
All right. So, Jeffrey Epstein, suicide. He was supposed to be checked on every 30 minutes, but he wasn't. Now, we have information released that the guards did not follow protocol, although we don't know who gave the authority to change the protocol. Epstein told authorities that he feared powerful people because he was cooperating with authorities. And Saturday, approximately 6:39 a.m., he was found unresponsive in cardiac arrest. Just a day before, 2,000 documents had been publicly released of his co-conspirators. So, will Maxwell now face charges since Epstein's suicide? The FBI and the DOJ are definitely investigating this case, getting information, trying to pick up the pieces. But let's not forget that Epstein was a member of the Trilateral and Council of Foreign Relations. So did he have higher authority and prestige and power than the president? And back to his co-conspirators. How many of them are there? Where are they in the political system or royal bloodline? Family? we'll see.